All right. So yesterday we did this. We did this work using Naya as an example. So great job for everyone that completed that information. We also, excuse me, we also broke apart the prompt, and we did that by doing following the P in Pow Tide, which is pull apart the prompt. Again, any verbs go on the left hand side, and then the actual task goes on the right hand side. Now, although we changed the name, we can literally just change it right back. Salvas. Salva. So, same exact thing. Had to make it possible for Salva instead of Naya survival, Salva survival. So, just like I did yesterday, you guys are going to do today. We'll focus on Salva. So first thing you need to think of is like, look at the question. What factors made survival possible for Salva on the long walk to water? You need to come up with three, just like we did with Naya. You need to come up with three reasons why. So that requires you to actually brainstorm. So you're gonna have to figure that out. You've read the book. Maybe you need to, go back and look at the book again. Definitely, I encourage you to do that. But I've got one already picked out. So on page, what is it, 80, talks about Salva made up his mind. He would walk south to Kenya. He did not know what he would find once he got there, but it seemed to be his best choice. Crowds of other boys followed him. Nobody talked about it. But by the end of the first day, Salva had become the leader of a group of about 1,500 boys. Some were as young as 5 years old. And it goes on and talks about how Salva's leading this particular group as they're trying to find their way and they're getting lost, hence the name Lost Boys. So the fact that Salva's leading hundreds and hundreds of boys who are younger, maybe even slightly older than him, shows a lot from his growth, his maturation, and really it's showing that he's a leader just like Uncle was. So I'm going to focus on leadership as one of his survival factors. Like that particular factor helped him survive. And so I'm going to give you this one. So if you choose to use leadership as one of your factors, you can use the example that I'm giving you now, but the other two you'll be responsible for by yourself. So let's see. Crowds of other. Let me fix this camera a bit here so you can get a better picture. Crowds of other boys followed him. Nobody talked about it, but by the end of the first day, Salva had become the leader of a group. And that comes from page 80. So that's a very good quote, very good detail from the novel. And as we move down here, remember this is I, so important detail. Then we need to move down to D, which is detailed elaboration. So let's provide some context. Um, we'll say of refugees, thousands of refugees were forced to leave the camp. Many were killed in the process. So that's good context, letting the reader know, since they didn't read the book, letting them know exactly what's going on in the story. Okay? So thousands of refugees were forced to leave the camp. Many were killed in the process. Um, And then I want to go ahead and I want to explain this quote a little bit more. I'm going to say naturally, Salva is leading thousands of boys to safety. And I'm going to write over here because I don't have any more space. This shows Salva's leadership, which helps him and other boys survive. So again, my quote, crowds of other boys followed him. Nobody talked about it, but by the end of the first day, Salva had become the leader of a group, came from page 80. Then detailed elaboration. I need to explain and provide context of what's going on, knowing that my reader has not read this book. So I say thousands of refugees were forced to leave the camp. Many were killed in the process. Naturally, Salva's leading thousands of boys to safety. This shows Salva's leadership, which helps him and other boys survive. Okay? So once I finish all three, rather, what you finish all three, you'll be able to connect those details. But it all begins with um, brainstorming. You know, what survival factors does Salva possess? You know? So is he intelligent? You can make an argument for that. Is he brave? Is he persistent? Is he resilient? You know, what do you think about Salva? What character traits that help him survive does he have? And there's a lot. And maybe he didn't have a lot in the beginning since he was only a kid, but he definitely has, as he's grown older and he's been without a friend or even a single relative, because of his environment, because of his experiences, he's been forced to become something he wasn't originally. He's developed as a character, as a human being, because this is based on a real story. So you need to complete the next two. I'll leave this up here for you. Again, if you want to mention the fact that he does, exhibit leadership, then you can definitely take what I've given you. There's other examples in the book that show Salva being a leader, especially towards the end of the book, as Salva is leading his men and his organization as they're building the water well for Naya's village. That's another example. So I just wanted to give you guys an example. Also, go back, look at the work that you guys did yesterday, and that will help you as well. So again, the beginning part, you need quotes from the text. Make sure you list the page number. Then you need to explain in your own words, how, what the survival factor is, and provide your reader some context of what's going on in the book since they haven't read the book. Then connect them all, and then just kind of revise it and turn it into a claim or a thesis rather. And remember, your thesis is the most important sentence in the entire essay. So I'll give you guys some time to work on that.